Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Starlene Breiter. I'm going to show you in this video how to look up your astrological birth chart. Now, I personally, being a professional astrologer, use a very sophisticated astrological software called Sirius. You don't need that kind of software unless you're going to be a professional. So you can look up your birth chart very simply online, either using your mobile device or even looking up through a computer. And in this video, I'm going to show you that information, your own personal birth chart, is really helpful when you're listening to my forecast of the vibrational astrology for the upcoming week. So you want to learn about your own birth chart and kind of understand it if you follow along my videos especially. So with that said, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscription button, and next to the subscription button you can hit the notification bell. That will give you a notification when I upload a video or when I go live. And you can also comment and tell me what you think of the video, if you have an idea, or if you're even curious and you don't really understand what I was sharing with you, feel free to ask questions. I'm here to help you. It's my desire through this YouTube channel and through the videos that I share to be able to help you understand astrology more and utilize it in your own daily life. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you. And then I'm going to show you how to look up your birth chart. So up here at the top, I'm just going to go to astro.com. Very easy. Astro.com is such a great resource for you to look at lots of different astrology stuff, but you can get lost in this website. So I'm going to show you step by step how you can draw your own astrological birth chart and even print it out, and a little bit about what it means, okay? On this site, it's wonderful. You can scroll around and look and click on different things. You can also scroll down and to the right here, you can see where the current planets are. The sun is at 6 degrees of Libra. The moon is at 22 degrees of Libra. You can look at all this stuff. But at the very top, what I want you to look at, the very top, next to the home, says free horoscopes. I want you to click on free horoscopes. So free horoscopes takes you to a page where you can make a bunch of different chart drawings. And what we're interested for this video is looking at chart drawing ascendant. It says quick access to your chart and calculations. If you click that button, that will take you to a page where you can make a profile for yourself or log in, which I would advise you to do if you're going to log in and figure out your birth chart. You might want to save it, or you can just do what I'm going to do here and do the same thing for a guest user. So I'm going to click on the guest user for demonstration purposes. There you go. And that brings you to this page, which is your data privacy information. You'll want to read that really quick. Click the I understand button, and then you're in this birth data entry page. So for here, I'm just going to put test, and you have to select a gender or an event. I'm going to put an event, and I'm going to just put 1 January 2000, and then I'm going to make it for 12 o'clock noon. And then I'm down here in the birth time, or the birth town, I'm going to make it New York, New York. And as you see, I typed in New York, New York. It asks me which New York am I talking about. I'm just going to put New York, New York, because this is just a fictitious chart to show you how it works. As you can see, the sun glyph is in Capricorn, the moon glyph is in Scorpio, the ascendant is in Aries, okay? You want to hit continue, and this will draw the chart wheel for you. So scrolling down, see, if you have an account here, you can look at the different charts that you have saved. They'll be saved by the name. This one is test. As you see, I only have one saved, but you can click through them. So it does help you if you do make an account to be able to see the different charts that you look at. So this one is test. As I scroll down, I'm going to click on it to make it bigger so everybody can hopefully see it and it doesn't distort it too much. So I want to stress this is really important to remember, because we're human beings and we do make errors in typing sometimes. You want to look up here before looking at the chart itself that you typed in the right information. So I wanted to make it 1 January 2000 at 2 p.m. in New York, New York. That was the time that I selected for this chart, and it is accurate. Sometimes even just a few minutes off can change a lot in the chart, so you want to make sure that the time is right too. So if you're looking up your birth chart, it's wonderful and best if you look at your birth certificate. If the time is on your birth certificate, you can, second of all, like look at a baby book or some other birth documents that you have. I would really suggest looking at your birth certificate for the time, because that's really important for you to know the exact time. So once that's done, you have your chart set up here. You can look at the glyphs right here down the left side. This is the sun, this is the moon, this is Mercury, Venus, Mars, and all the way down to Chiron, and then your ascendant and your midheaven, okay? And that's all of that. So this is the glyph of the sun, and then this is the sun over here in the chart. So looking at the sun, it's at 10 degrees, Capricorn, 34 minutes. So you go over to the chart, you see Capricorn, that's the glyph for Capricorn in case you don't know it. And this is the sun at 10 degrees, 34 minutes in the sign of Capricorn, okay? And then if you want to look at your moon, that's 15 degrees Scorpio, 49 minutes. You go, you find Scorpio, you find your moon, 15 degrees, 49 minutes. There you go. And then if you want to, what you look at is, a lot of people will ask you, if I'm sure if you've been around astrology a little bit, you might have heard people say the expression of your big three, or what is your big three? Your big three, when they talk about it, that's your sun, your moon, and what we call your ascendant. The ascendant is right here. So the ascendant in the chart is the 9 o'clock position, as if we were looking at a clock here. If this was a clock, this would be 9 o'clock, right? So ascendant is abbreviated by AC. It's also known as your rising sign. So if you have heard the word rising sign and you've heard the word ascendant, they're actually interchangeable. What this means, it's not a planet. So there's no glyph here. There's no glyph, like this is Jupiter and this is Saturn. There's no glyph here. It's just the letters AC. And what this is right here is, this is the spot that was rising on the eastern horizon when you drew this chart. So for 1 January 2000 at 12 p.m., the rising of the ascendant was 19 degrees 58 minutes in the sign of Aries. See that? There you go. So one thing I wanted to share with you too is that this is a very important part to your personality. That's why they call it the big three: the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. Now, we have obviously so many more planets here to look at aside from just the sun, moon, and ascendant, but that is very basic stuff. I also wanted to share with you, aside from looking at like where your Mercury is, or where the Venus is, or Mars, you know, Mercury here, Venus here in Sagittarius, Mars here in Aquarius, looking at all that stuff, that's all important too. It's very helpful to know what degree your planet is. Like for instance, Mars is at 28 degrees of Aquarius. Here you go, 28 degrees of Aquarius. That's really helpful to know, as if there's something that's important that's going on in that degree, in that space in the sky. And if you know that your Mars is in 28 degrees and there's going to be like a new moon or something like that at 28 degrees of Aquarius, you would know that that's going to be very powerful for you. So it's important for you to know your chart. It does help you understand astrology a little bit deeper than just looking at, you know, your sun sign or even just your sun, moon, and ascendant. So you want to kind of memorize and think about all the different planets and at least what sign they're in, and then the degrees, which are the numbers, are really helpful to remember too. Don't get discouraged though. This does take a minute to kind of comprehend, and that's why this is a really simple and basic video that I wanted to share with you guys, so that you could look and figure out, you know, what's going on in your own chart. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you guys before I let this video go is that the ascendant is on an axis with the descendant. That's abbreviated DC. As you see this big, thick black line, this is the ascendant and this is the descendant. And they're always exactly opposite of each other. The ascendant is 1958 of Aries, and the descendant is 1958 of Libra. So Libra and Aries are opposite signs of each other. Okay, these are very important points in the sky. This is the eastern horizon. This is the western horizon at the moment of this chart being drawn up for, okay? Likewise, up here is your midheaven. That's abbreviated by MC. And then all the way down is your IC. That's that is Cancer. This is Capricorn at 10 degrees and 43 minutes. That's your midheaven right here. And the opposite is Cancer at 10 degrees 43 minutes in Cancer. Okay, so this axis right here and this axis right here, as you see, they're depicted by these big, thicker black lines, are really important. They're also known as angles. So they're also known as the first house cusp. As you see the number 1 here, this 1 represents the space right here being your first house. So your first house, and this is your first house cusp, also known as your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. So it's all the same, you know, the same point in the sky. But the first house is this whole space between this line and this line. And in the first house, we do have Jupiter and we do have Saturn. So, you know, that's a little bit deep, but this is the first house. This is the second house. This is the third house. Then this is the fourth house cusp. So these here, these thick lines, this is the 7th house cusp. And this is the 10th house cusp. So the first, the fourth, the 7th, and the 10th are very important parts to your chart as well. So these are important parts to your chart. These parts right here that depict the intermediate houses, which are the 2nd and the 3rd, the 5th and the 6th, the 8th and the 9th, the 11th and the 12th, those are not as definitive as these particular thicker lines of the angles. And the reason that is because astrologers agree that this is the spot right here that was rising at the moment this chart was drawn up for, which is January 1, 2000 at 12 p.m. So astrologers agree on that. They don't always agree on where these particular intermediate house cusps are. These are angled house cusps, the thick lines, and these are intermediate house cusps. So these are not quite as important as the thick ones. And the reason that is because I'm using Placidus house system right here. Placidus is just one of many different house systems. If we use a different house system such as Regina Montis or Koch, we would see that these particular lines would move, but these particular lines would not. These would stay the same. So that is something to know. So I'm not going to get too deeply into the houses. I just wanted to show you guys how to look at your astrological chart. Interpretation is a different thing. I just want you to know, you know, looking at this chart that you can say, okay, my Venus is 1 degree Sagittarius, 49 minutes. So there's your Venus, 1 degree, 49 minutes, okay? This is a simple thing that I wanted you guys to understand so that you could see how astrology works and how it can work with in regards to you. So what I would suggest to you is to print this chart out so you have it with you so that you can, when you're listening to my videos on the astrological forecasting and I tell you a degree, if I tell you something is at 10 degrees of Capricorn, you'll know, oh, my sun is at 10 degrees of Capricorn. This is very powerful for me. So I want you to kind of pay attention to that. It will give you some insight as to what's going on with you on a deeper level. And it will also help you to understand astrology a little bit more. I welcome you to ask me questions. Feel free to write in the comment section and tell me what you think. If this is something that you hadn't understood before, but now you understand it, wonderful. If you have a question beyond this, or if you'd like me to do a video about something else, feel free to share it with me. Your ideas with me. I would love to hear it because I'm putting these videos out so you guys can get to know a little bit more about astrology and understand it and utilize it in your own life. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste to everyone.